Hello everyone, my name is JaeAIK and welcome back to another video. Because I hit 1,000 subscribers, I asked you guys to send me some questions. In all honesty, I didn't expect much, but you guys came in swinging, and as I'm answering these questions in text form, I ended up with 10 pages. Am I going to answer all these questions? Hell yeah I am, so let's get right into it. Timestamps in the description below. IceKiller305 asks, what was so special about JaeAIK that you chose her as a plus 10 and as the channel icon? And if you didn't pick her, who else would you pick? So I didn't really say this in my first plus 10 character video, but I had my avatar as rank JaeAIK because I was pairing everyone else. But once I did, I found that JaeAIK was actually a super interesting and dynamic character. And in my opinion, compared to the rest of the cast, she has a lot going for her, instead of just being a one-dimensional trope. While I don't think the English translated version of her character does her justice, I think the Japanese version of JaeAIK actually had a lot going for her character. So I think that's personally why I really like JaeAIK a lot. And if I had not picked JaeAIK, I would have probably gone with a GBA character like Canis, who has yet to be in Heroes, because I'm a little bit biased towards the Shaman Druid class, even if they're terrible. So yeah, most likely would have been Canis. Failed Mystery asks, are you ever going to do a face reveal? Completely unrelated. Also, what is your favorite unit to use in Fire Emblem Heroes? No. Also, my favorite character to use is definitely JaeAIK. Lord Tullus9 asks, I have two questions, answer whichever you like. What is your favorite live action film and why? So I'll be completely honest, I don't really watch action live films. The ones that I watched, Avatar and Dragon Ball Z, were ass. So there's that. But I guess if you count comic books like the Marvel Universe, I really like the first Captain America movie and both Guardians of the Galaxy. I would include Infinity Wars here, but it's just not the same without the X-Men and Adam Warlock. And then the next question Lord Tullus9 asks is, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? 31 to 40 miles per hour. Tactics Emblem asks, okay. Van Kitten asks, a lot of questions actually, so I'll be going through all of them in order. Thoughts on how Fates could be improved as a whole. So there's a whole laundry list of what could be done to fix Fire Emblem Fates as a whole, but to start, fix the story. I think having 3 paths and having the story always be Nora is bad, Hoshida was good, Invisible Kingdom is really invisible is a missed opportunity. On top of that, I get where they're going with Revelations, but I live in a place that snows a bunch already, and I'm not trying to shovel more snow when I'm playing video games. Get rid of gimmicks and actually use Dragon Veins to innovate the map design space. Also, Deep Realms, don't get me started on how BS that crap is. The next question Van Kitten asks is, how did you come up with this channel? So I apologize in advance if I don't answer this correctly, but I saw a vlog that Gas did, and I think he talked about how FETubers and FETubers kind of do their own thing. I didn't like that, so I thought I would start creating a space that would kind of merge the two, and to be honest, I'm kind of struggling, but I'm working on it, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I just wanted a place to make videos and get good at editing. The final question Van Kitten asks is, how do you feel about Thracia characters, given that you hated Thracia 776, or was just the game infuriating? So I don't actually hate the Thracia characters, I think they're all super underrated, I just didn't like the mechanics of Thracia 776. Like, I felt the pain of Finn missing twice with his Brave Lance at 99%, only to live by some miracle of a chance, and then Nana goes to heal him and then misses twice. Like, I rage quit that game so many times because of stupid mechanics like this. But otherwise, I think Leaf is a super underrated lord, and Thracia has one of the best / interesting characters of all time. I know people in the Fire Emblem Heroes community likes to meme about Reinhardt a lot, but they don't understand how difficult it was to deal with him in the main game. And no, the Berserk cheese doesn't count. Dragon Frappe asks, am I a cool person? Hell yeah you are. Darth Roxas asks, what are your least favorite and favorite chapters in all of Fire Emblem? So least favorite, the Revelation chapter where you had to shovel snow. But the favorite chapter for me is probably going to have to be lots of Sake in Fire Emblem 6 and a night-filled sky in Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. Coolboy111 asks, how did you get your love for Shirshei and why do you like Fire Emblem? So the question actually asks how do you live for Shirshei, but I'm going to assume that you meant how did I get my love for Shirshei. I got asked this a ton already so at the start, so I'll give a little Shirshei fun fact instead. Shirshei's official description for every game she's appeared in, she holds the Hell Swath. Also, why do you like Fire Emblem? I like Fire Emblem because there's no other game like this. You, the tactician, can see the entire map, and your decisions have consequences, because if you make a mistake, your character can permanently die, unless of course you reset the game. There's a layer of difficulty in the fact that characters don't return, unlike in Final Fantasy Tactics series, in which you can play a little bit more aggressive and sacrifice units as kind of a strategy. Here in Fire Emblem, you can't sacrifice characters as a strategy, and in turn, I think it creates like a very interesting dynamic. Desktop asks, has your pity rate ever been broken by the same unit? If yes, then who? Sanaki, 3 times going for Vanguard Legend AIK. I got Vanguard Legend AIK in the end though, so I wasn't too mad, but could the game at least have given me a Siegbert who was on the same banner? You know, who knows? Gatling Fumes asks, what were your original plans when you made your YouTube channel? My original plans for YouTube was first and foremost to learn how to make videos. I like to think that I'm a creative individual and I like making dope stuff, so I made a YouTube account wanting to make some videos. It started off as me and my friends just memeing about on League of Legends when I had a really shitty mic and a really shitty computer, and I was just going to continue that until we all started to get really busy and not be able to play games as much as we used to. So I swapped to what I'm passionate about in Fire Emblem. Shaded Hydra asks, in Heroes, what units and skills would you want to demote to 4 stars? I think a lot of the Brazen skills dropping down to 4 stars would be dope. The stance skills dropping could also be pretty dope. But I think something like a Skill Forge could fix these issues, where you can upgrade your Defiant skills to Brazen skills or your Speed +3 to Darting Blow or Darting Stance or something. I don't know, there's a lot of opportunities here in like a Skill Forge or something. As for units, I think it's time for characters like Mist and Lyn to drop to 4-star. They don't have any place in the meta, and a lot of people would totally love to get them as characters. And no bias or anything, but I think Hector should too. That way I have a legit chance at finally getting him. Please come home, Hector. So Augie asks, do you want Flora in FEH? And what would you want her build to be like? So quick shoutouts to my friend Kevin who helped me with translating the name. Hopefully he didn't tell me wrong and I didn't, cuss you out in Japanese or anything. But of course I want Flora in FEH. She was my character that my avatar married in Revelations. Was she top tier in combat? Not really. Was she cute though? Hell yeah. So if we got Flora in FEH, I can totally see her being pretty identical to Felicia in stats, but instead of being offensive like Felicia, I can see Flora being the complete opposite and being a defensive unit with something like warding stance and drive resistance too. I wouldn't mind Flora also coming with a plate and it having something completely identical to Felicia's plate in Fire Emblem Heroes. Desert Bones asks, favorite Pokemon? Ooh, that's a tough one. I actually have a ton of favorite Pokemon, so I'll throw out a few, but for sure my favorite Pokemon of all time is Typhlosion. You can check the reasoning in a video that I made in the description below. I also like Mega Lopunny because Mega Lopunny is a sick Mega. My girl also helped me beat the Battle Shot 2 in Omega Ruby as well, so shoutouts to her. My sister and I had like the sick combination of Mega Lopunny and Mega Gardevoir for some pretty spicy stuff. I think Kingdra is also pretty cool. Weezing because my name is James and I liked Weezing ironically at first, but now I kinda unironically like Weezing. Dragonair because it's a super pretty Pokemon, and I also like Skitty because it's a pink cat. Mirthlock Luwal asks, who is your favorite Fire Emblem Lord character? Ike's, Biceps, and Radiant Dawn because they're practically new characters. Actual answer, favorite Lord would have to be Marth. 1, he's done so much for the series as a representative in Smash Brothers, and 2, there's like an aura of people wanting to support him as like a legend. Yeah, he's so popular that people cosplay him in the future as a symbol of peace. But otherwise, Ephraim is a close second because he's pretty cool. Phoenix Wright asks, objection! Would you be willing to give the Phoenix Wright series a try in the future? Yep, my sister goes on and on about how great Phoenix Wright is, so I'll give it a shot one of these days. Though she tells me that the game can be kinda long, but if I've stuck through Persona 3 and 4, the Final Fantasy series, and more, I can do it, I believe. True Dark asks, who do you think are the best and worst Grand Hero Battle characters in Fire Emblem Heroes? So the best Grand Hero Battle characters are probably Xander and Camus. They were the cornerstone members in Horse Emblem back in the day. But if we're talking about flavor, Fallen Takumi is a great representation of what he was. Leon is also a great representation of what he was in the main games. And Legion because he has a top tier voice actor. I don't think there's necessarily a worse Grand Hero Battle character, but if I had to choose, it'll probably be Lloyd because he's forgettable. The map he appears in doesn't match his morph appearance, and the Regal Blade just doesn't do him justice. Here's to hoping his brother isn't terrible. Stuart Monge asks, greetings Jay, and here are 5 questions for you. What is your favorite legendary weapon? Brynhild, summoning a tree is pretty cool. What legendary hero did you like the most that are out so far? I think Gunthra is pretty cool, unique in what she does. Fjorm is great, only when she's in arena. And I would like legendary Ephraim, but he has yet to come home. Please come home soon, Ephraim. Favorite gaming OST. This is a tough one, but the Pokemon Gold OST and its 8-bit tunes are really nostalgic. The Persona series has some fire music all throughout, and the Super Mario 64 OSTs are all top-notch. I can go on and on about this. Final Fantasy VII 13 both have memorable and really good soundtracks. Kingdom Hearts, Zelda, Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna stop here. This video could be 40 minutes long. Favorite legendary Pokemon. I kind of had to think about this one, but I think my favorite are the Lottie twins, though their mega evolutions are kind of a wasted opportunity. Finally, what is your favorite Power Rangers series? Whichever one I watched as a kid. The Blue Greens 64 asks, who has the best art in Fire Emblem Heroes? Bridal Sheeta by far. The amount of detail in that character is actually insane. Braden King asks, are you my dad? Monkey's brother. Nelson Pan asks, I love watching your content and it's clear that you put a lot of effort into each video. Great graphic design skills. Hey, thanks so much. However, one problem I have with your content is the large difference in length. Either 2-hour streams or 5 to 10 minute videos, which I understand. With the amount of time it takes to edit one of your videos, doing a 20-minute long The Lore Behind would be exhausting. So do you have any plans to release longer videos but with less effort put in, like a summoning session, or you just going through the chain challenges? Sorry for the long question. Hey, it's okay Nelson, I'll forgive you for the long question. So I don't really think about how long my videos are, because if I get my point across in the video in 3 minutes, then the video will be 3 minutes. Or if I take 10 minutes, then the video will be 10 minutes long. But with that being said, I do have plans to make longer videos, but I'm still kind of in the drafting phase for that kind of stuff. So I guess be on the lookout for that whenever I get something going. Sorry for being a little bit ambiguous about that. Hua Fan asks, when was your first kiss? Monkey's brother. Uni asks, 016, are you Tommy Wiseau? Oh hi Mark. Jagger Jazz asks, the awkwardness in your voice is so random but funny. I got no questions since I'm fine where I am. I'd like to say congratulations Jay, you've come far. I remember when you barely had 50 to 30 subs. Come a long way. Hope to see you, hope to still be around and see your channel grow even more. Hey, this isn't an answer, but thanks for supporting the channel since the start when I was a terrible content creator. Bridie Boo asks, who is your favorite FEH tuber and why? If Nemesis isn't one, tell me what you think of him anyways. So just what I think of Nemesis? He's terrible. Okay, sarcasm aside, I have a ton of I have a huge amount of respect for Nemesis does, but his content just isn't for me anymore. With a ton of FEH tubers coming into the scene, I found the content that I like watching. But with that being said, though, I do turn on Nemesis stream VODs whenever I am working on something in the back, because you know I just like having background noise. As for content creators that I watch, I've been really enjoying JaeAIK's video. Links for all these channels are going to be in the description below. JaeAIK does Cherche solo runs, and no bias or anything, but I really like watching Cherche solo clears. I've also started to watch some Colm, who's been producing some interesting solo clears with a ton of underrated units. Colm also puts in a bunch of small things going on in that video that makes it interesting to watch and kind of inspires me to become a better editor. Marbles, of course, because Marbles has superior sound engineering. And last but not least, I've been watching this channel called Wander. I don't like it when creators ramble on about nothing, so I just really enjoy the fact that Wander just does gameplay and cuts the bullshit out of there. Zal Reyes asks, which Fire Emblem unit you liked in design before stats or personality made you drop him or her? So I'm more the type of guy that'll train a unit because I think that character looks neat, and then in the second run I'll do a more optimal run with characters that have better numbers behind them. So for example, in Fire Emblem 6 I trained Klein even though Sue and Shin are infinitely better than him, simply because Klein's a good boy, you know what I'm saying? I generally don't drop characters for their personality, but the most recent one that I can remember dropping like a hot potato is Nyx, because I find her to be super depressing and very one-dimensional. Brian Tabasco asks, Despacito? Despacito. Vincent Tapia asks, congrats on 1k subs, dude. So here are my questions. If you became an FEH character, what would be your weapon, movement type, stats, and skills? My favorite class has always been the Mage Knight, but I don't want to be Cancer in Fire Emblem Heroes, so maybe a Mage Knight that's like super bad like Leo or something. So when they pull me, they're like, yay, a Mage Knight, only to be really disappointed because I'm like Leo or something. And then kind of a follow-up to that question is, would you be a free-to-play character or an exclusive one? Free-to-play for sure, so everyone can feel the disappointment. Nider G asks, favorite Heroes character? Sure, Shay, but since that's kind of a cop-out, Male Robin has been a stellar standout to me in the early days of Fire Emblem Heroes because he was my counter to both Ryoma and Takumi when they were the Kings of Arena alongside Hector. Otherwise, my Fire Emblem squad featuring Sheeta, Spring Camilla, and Tana are also up there. And last but not least, Lovebound's Eliwood is also one of my favorite characters to use because Bold Fighter and Astra is just super fun. Black Knight asks, what's your favorite Fire Emblem villain and why? Black Knight, obviously. Come on, dude. All jokes aside, Leon 100%. Because there's no other villain like Leon in like Fire Emblem ever. Because you see, what Leon struggles with isn't what the protagonists see Leon struggle with. And I think that's just such a cool dynamic between the main character and the villain. GNS asks, your favorite hidden gem or obscure game? Ooh, this one's kind of a tough one. I think Shadowverse is still super underrated as a digital collectible card game, especially in a space where they have to compete with Hearthstone. But if you are interested in learning this game, I know this super dope streamer, Hanim X, and I'll leave his stuff in the description below. Otherwise, I think games like Final Fantasy Tactics 8-2, the Disgaea series, Rivals of Aether, and Skullgirls are all relatively underrated games. ZWizard247 asks, why made you want to do YouTube? I'm going to assume that you meant what made you want to do YouTube. I just wanted to be good at video editing. So now these questions are from my Discord server. I put a mini channel asking them to ask me anything. So Kokichi Oma asks, what was your first Fire Emblem game? Fire Emblem 7 The Blazing Sword, first Fire Emblem game released in the States. Momo the Homo, kind of as a follow-up to that question, asks, this question is related to the previous one, but what got you into FE? So I grew up in New Mexico, and my parents, being immigrants from Korea, wanted to find a Korean community in Albuquerque. So one thing to note, I was like one of 4 Asian kids in my school of like 600 kids, so there were very little Koreans out there. But needless to say, my parents did find a community, but the age range between the kids were huge. So I was one of the younger kids, but the older kids would kind of accept me to go play with them. But then one day, this older guy, Junmin, brought this game called Fire Emblem. So I saw the game and I thought it was dumb, but then I saw, or like the box art, I thought it was dumb, and then I looked at the game and I saw the druid class do like the critical where it's like whoa, 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 and then he used flux, and I was like, wow, this is the coolest fucking game of all time. So I got my hands on Fire Emblem and then proceeded to suck, but I had a blast. What was the hardest map you've ever played? So in recent memory, Conquest 10, Chapter 10, where you get Camilla for the first time, is one that I remember. Nui Baba's map in Shadows of Valencia is also kind of a standout to me since I beat that chapter without the rescue warp strategy. Well, how did you create your name? So I know my name JaeAIK, and how I pronounce it is really random, but the name Jae is part of my Korean name Jaemin, and also my nickname that I used whenever I would go out to dance. Kind of like how b-boys would have something like b-boy the end or b-boy Hong 10 and stuff like that. And AIK was kind of like the crew, that I was a part of, we've since disbanded during high school, but the guys that I danced with were like legitimately like my brothers. So while AIK originally meant Artistic Ingenuity Crew with a K because we thought it was cool, it's become a symbol of friendship and brotherhood. It's become a symbol of friendship and brotherhood to me. Dragonic Pixel asks, well, what's your favorite final boss theme in Fire Emblem? Twilight of the Gods, the intensity that the music provides as you slay Duma is pretty much unparalleled. Otherwise, Fire Emblem 8's final boss theme is great too because the theme reflects some kind of hope. Like, yeah, we're gonna fulfill Leon's wish and hope. Or something like that, you know? And Fire Emblem 6 Before You Fight a Boss had also kind of a separate song. And I know this is kind of cheating, but I really like that one too because it's fun. Also, what is your favorite FE game? Fire Emblem 6. And finally, what is your favorite Fire Emblem character? Okay, so my Discord called you out for this one because it's obviously Shadowverse, but I'll take a step further and say Penton Canis, Percival from Fire Emblem 6, Altena and Ergay Bolg from Fire Emblem 4, Python and Shadows of Valencia, Leon and La Rochelle from Fire Emblem 8, and Michaelis from Shadow Dragon. Small Fry Fury asks, what was your first console? The legendary Nintendo 64. Mario Party 2 is still the greatest Mario Party, and you're wrong if you disagree. Red One asks, worst boss fight that you've faced? Speaking of N64, the final Bowser battle in Super Mario 64 because I'm terrible at Bowser throws. Vico asks, why do you like Shadowverse so much? So I already answered this, just wanted to let you know that I am reading everything, so I guess I'll give you another Shadowverse fun fact. Kana's dragon voice is Minerva. Who is your favorite Fire Emblem NPC? Each and every soldier that decides to suicide into the enemy for no reason. Otherwise, I think the legendary heroes make an appearance in Fire Emblem 7 like Roland, Durban, and Briamin were just super cool. Aegis asks, why does your face look like some sort of trap? Setsuna. What? Frenchie asks, worst luck in any game? Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything, but in recent memory, my Nuzlocke run where I lost to Whitney due to a ton of crits happening in a row. Yeah, really sad about that one. I also lost the Sakura map in Conquest due to Hana critting me with a 7% chance. That didn't feel good either. Christ. Yami Kami asks, are you gonna build my goddess Clarice build and you will have to sacrifice a 5-star Klein for her? Just a heads up, anytime soon. No, stop asking me. Nakraj asks, if you could expand your YouTube channel in any direction, where do you want to go? Is there anything you want to try but are scared your audience won't follow you with? I'm actually pretty happy with what I'm building on this channel right now at the moment, and personally I think even if my audience isn't into the same thing as I am, I think that's okay. I'm still probably going to upload and share it because if I think it's a dope video, it's a dope video and people will check it out, hopefully. How has YouTube impacted you since you started it? It's been fun. It's a hobby that I've been really enjoying, and I didn't think I'd ever reach 1,000 subs, but here I am now, right? Has it had any strong impacts on your social life? I've always been close to a few people at any given time, so I don't think it's affected me. I don't think it's affected me negatively. In fact, all my friends helped me out in one way or another when I was building this channel, and they continue to help me out today. So, quick shoutouts to Gong, aka Winter Garden, Michael, aka Count CW, Hanim X, Mina X, Swoongy, pick a fucking name, you idiot. Local Japanese expert Kevin for helping me out with the stuff that I've been confused on, Ludall Lollies for the troll donations and buying me ramen, love you Yet-chan, and a bunch of other people that boosted my subscriber count from 1 to 12 when I was first starting. You guys are the realest, especially Gong, who made 2 accounts because he forgot his first one. And finally, what could you foresee trying to do with your community if it succeeds and grows larger? So I haven't really thought about this in all honesty, but I would still love to play games with you guys, even if it isn't Fire Emblem related. I know some of you guys play League of Legends. I see it on the Discord sidebar, you know what I'm saying? So I would love to play League of Legends or stuff with you guys, even though I'm washed up. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately, or even like battle ride, I'm down to do with you guys as well. Yeah, so maybe we can organize something on Discord, I don't know. I would also love to do kind of like a community hero spotlight kind of thing, where if I think a unit that you send is interesting enough, I make a video on it. I don't know, there's a lot of possibilities, and I don't really think about this, so maybe I should start thinking about this for sure. But either way, that wraps up everything that I wanted to say. So once again, thank you so much for the support that you guys have been showing this channel. Like, I know in the grand scheme of things, YouTube in YouTube 1,000 subs isn't much, like I know, but for me, I sit down and think 1,000 people is one small building full of people watching my content, and whenever I think of that, I'm just blown away. It also means that I'm doing something correctly with my videos, and that's super humbling for me. So thank you so much again, and I really hope you guys continue to stick with me and see my growth as a content creator. But with that being said, thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If this is your first time here, leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any more questions, I will do my best to answer them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, everyone.